Hey everyone, Kyle Mike here from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. Week 3 is upon us. The home opener against the Denver Broncos. Lions 0-2, Broncos 2-0. Who you got, Justin?
Broncos. It doesn't matter what we pick. We're always wrong at this stage of the year, but
we are like the Lions 0-2 on the season.
Yeah, but listen, I just don't believe that the offensive line is going to fix the mistakes from week 1 and week 2 and week 3 against a very good Denver pass rush. It's not a bad run defense, not a great run defense, kind of average, but that pass rush is scary. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware have been wreaking havocs in backfields in the first 2 weeks. They're two of the best players in the NFL at their position, and I just don't see how the Lions are going to be able to stop them.
I'm with you. I got it 24-20 for the Broncos, and I know Peyton Manning hasn't looked like his vintage self in so many ways this year, but no one prepares for a game like this guy does. No one knows the game like this guy does, and give him the extra time to prepare, to get healthy, whatever the case, for a primetime game against his old mentor. You're going to get his best. Whatever that is these days, you're going to get the best Peyton Manning there is. And the Lions' defense has already been shredded by 2 quarterbacks, 2 offenses that arguably are not as good as this one. And I feel like the Lions just don't have enough in them to win this game. And I don't even really like my own pick because the Lions are so good at Ford Field. They're so good in prime time. There's the bounce-back philosophy in the NFL. There are so many reasons that the Lions could win this game, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if they win it. But to me, that's no reason to actually make a prediction based on that stuff. You pick which team is better. I think the Broncos should win this game, and I think they do win this game.
And the Broncos' offense has not looked all that great the first 2 weeks. They really struggled against Baltimore in the opening week. A little bit better against Kansas City. They closed strong, but Peyton Manning doesn't look very good. He's completing about 59% of his passes. Arm strength outside the numbers just isn't there. Not that he ever had the strongest
arm. But does he need arm strength to beat the Lions defense? That's what I come back to, because they've been beaten on that second level, and it hasn't been the downfield stuff.
Yeah, it's the middle of the defense. People have asked me, what's the defensive game plan to beat Peyton Manning? Force him to throw downfield, force him to throw outside the numbers. Right. Take away the middle of the field, challenge everything short. Be aggressive. Be extra aggressive in this game. Make him beat you with his arm, because that's probably your best chance of, he's still going to get his, but you might at least force a turnover or two, and I think that's your best chance to beat the Broncos, is to get some field position on some turnovers.
Yeah, I see that as a problem, because the Lions, their biggest weakness has been covering that territory at the second level. The linebackers have not done a good enough job. Stephen Tulloch is turning into a part-time player. Josh Bynes has been okay, but he's certainly not DeAndre Levy. For some reason, Travis Lewis is still playing in front of Tahir Whitehead. There's a mess there, and I don't have the confidence at this point that the Lions can shore up and be aggressive, as is the key to stopping that Broncos offense. Flipping it around, though, I think the Lions offense. There's issues there with Stafford's health. He's going to start this game. I would be shocked if he didn't. Practice fluid throughout the week, so he's good to go. But if he actually finishes the game is another matter, because that Broncos front seven, that pass rush is so fierce. It's so good. The Lions have leaked in a lot of traffic from the outside posts, and obviously the Broncos have very good edge rushers, and I think that's going to be a problem, a huge mismatch. And I think for the Lions to win this game, they're going to have to rely on the running game, and that's been non-existent to this point. But the Broncos have been a little susceptible against the run. Jamal Charles had a good game, 125 yards last week. The Lions need to get that rushing game going, I think, to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, I don't think Jamal Charles is on the Lions roster, or anybody of that caliber. I understand Amir Abdullah has really got some people's imaginations running wild, and that first run, that 24-yard run, the hole was there. I mean, suddenly all this promise of what the running game could be was there in that one moment. Since then, 2.9 yards per carry. Joik Bell, I think, negative 2.9 yards per carry. It's not looked good. The run blocking's been just as bad as the pass protection. It's going to continue to boil down to the offensive line. I mean, that group has to block. Denver's not great against the run. They got a defensive tackle whose name is escaping me. They brought in from Kansas City this year, who's pretty stout in that middle. Miller and Ware aren't outstanding run defenders, but that athleticism makes it very hard to get the corner on that defense. And I actually think the Lions need to press some outside runs, maybe just to keep Miller and Ware on their heels a little bit. So they're just not pinning their ears back and getting after Stafford the entire game.
Yeah, I like Abdullah. I think he still has a lot of ability, even if he was quiet last week. But he needs, much like Reggie Bush last year, a guy like that, he needs holes. He needs a place to run. And when he's getting hit 3 yards in the backfield, every time he takes the handoff, he's not going to go very far. And that's a big issue for the Lions because I don't see too many immediate remedies on that offensive line. Well, Adrian Waddle could be back this week, which could provide a boost. Who knows, though, because we haven't seen him, since last December. And Riley Reef has not played well enough either on the left side. So some issues, I think, still ongoing on that offensive line.
I think it's a big game for Eric Ebron. One, he's going to be asked to chip and help out and slow down Miller and Ware. And I don't know how much he's going to be able to help, but he's going to try. That's what he said. I'm going to just try my best. Two, Denver's pass defense has been stingy. I mean, Alex Smith didn't do much, and whatever, that's Alex Smith. Joe Flacco had, I think, 120 yards, something really low. Half the yardage they've given up has been to tight ends. That's one area where they've been a little susceptible to opposing offenses. So, Ebron's off to a nice start. He's not, great or anything, but a couple 50-yard games, couple touchdowns.
I think, given the context of what this offense has done, he has been.
He's a bright spot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe great's taking it too far, but I think there's a lot to feel good about Ebron, and even if it's only been 50 yards in a couple of games, I still think that's pretty good. He's taken the opportunities that were given to him and played well and scored 2 touchdowns, and that's more than most guys can say in that offense.
At this point there's at least some level of trust with Stafford, so I think they'll continue to develop that relationship, and this is an opportunity for him to build further upon his decent start.
That's how we see it. That doesn't mean anything. We are both 0-2 on the season, so keep that in mind before you bet the house.
The Lions, I guess.
Yeah. But we'll be all over this game. 8 o'clock kick on Sunday night. It's going to be a huge day in Detroit. Home opener should be fun. For Justin Rogers, I'm Kyle Mikey. We are on live. Keep it right here.